I'd like to call the Board of Public Works July 20th, 2020 meeting and have all our board members come in. Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Hopkins.
Good afternoon. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your oversight of us during these changing and sudden times. And we know that you're ever-present help in our time of trouble, because you did tell us that on earth you'll have trouble. And we know that you have not left the scene. You're not out to lunch, but you're with us. And we just lift up this board today with the changes that they have as well, and help them to make honest decisions according to your will, that all things will be well for our community and citizens here, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. If you would turn off your cell phones and ringers. I do have Mr. Barrett via cell phone. He wanted to stay away today, which is fine. And Rebecca will not be sworn in until next meeting. She was feeling ill and decided she did not want to be here to protect everybody. So we do have a quorum. Well, we got to do roll call yet, so roll call.
Brian Doub.
Present.
Becky Gibson. David Nutty.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Here.
Okay. We do have a quorum, and everyone has it's going to be odd going back to a cell phone, so.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it will not connect to my speaker. It's connecting, but I'm getting no volume, so John, wherever you're at, let's work on this after this. You have your minutes for the July 7th, 2020 meeting. Is there any additions or corrections?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a
Second.
motion to approve and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. New business. We have the bid opening for the 7th Street Combined Sewer Improvement Project. Make some space here.
Watch out.
That's a mean opener, man.
That's why I brought it.
Okay. I'll make sure I pronounce this correctly first. Is it Thieneman? Did I say that right? Thieneman? Thieneman?
Yeah.
Find the total bid here. There's this tabulation sheet. I see the everything but the tabulation. Oh, I'm sorry. How are we doing the alternative bid? You have a bid tabulation, and I have an alternative bid here.
I would read the total and then also read the alternative.
Okay, the total's $1,218,000, and the bid alternative number 1 is $50,000.
Was it add or deduct? Did they circle one? Okay.
Add, sorry,
Thank you.
I see it. O'Mara. Well, there we go. Okay, project total from O'Mara is $777,089.29. And I do not see They did them, so I had one. Let me double check to make sure I did that right, please. Okay, this is from Brackney. And their total is $1,127,750. And the bid, alternative number 1, says add, is $10,000. Their total is $1,127,750. Bid, alternative number 1, is add, $10,000. That's a different format, that's what I want to make sure I got it right.
That's the correct total. I don't see anything.
So what else? So it was a different format, I just want to make sure I typed everything.
Yeah, I'll look at it. This is not new bid form on the that had the alternate in it, so
Okay.
I'll look at them.
Okay. Okay, the process is, I think the board knows it goes, and you'll take them and review them, make sure everything's proper. Read it past the opening.
I think we still make a motion for Strand to review the bids and to advise us.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion for Strand to review and advise on the bids.
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you very much. We have approval of sidewalk you want to move these out of the way or are they in the way?
No,
for
they're fine.
sidewalk contracts? We have to approval of the sidewalk contract for construction engineering between the city of Connersville and INDOT. Any questions on that? It's a pretty standard contract. I mean, don't get much of a choice.
What percent of this money is INDOT? How much is Connersville?
I don't remember the answer to that. And Julie says, no, you remember Rosemary?
Do you know what the percentage is?
80%.
80%?
Okay, I was thinking 81 for sure.
Local.
Thank you, because
Thank you.
I've had a couple go by my desk since
The
then.
only thing Rosemary and I have been doing is looking at numbers. Past 2 days are all starting to get confusing. Okay.
Before this is completed, is there a public meeting? Anyone gets a chance to review this or anything?
It's not required by INDOT. You can have one if you'd like.
Haven't really got that far, so I don't know the answer to that.
We would just like to, I think, have a public meeting to review the plans for
Yeah.
the sidewalks.
It's a good idea.
We
Yeah.
can schedule that.
Yep, I'm happy to.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Jim, can you hear everything?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. If not, we'll take a motion to approve this contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the sidewalk contract for construction engineering between Connersville, INDOT, and
Butler Family Cypress.
Butler family. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if people have masks on. So we have a motion
I'll second.
and a
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And let's make sure we get together on a potential date for we can schedule a public meeting. How long do you think it'll take? And we have item C, approval contract with Dave O'Mara concerning the 30th Street Water Main project.
Yeah, I think we previously reported on what the bid price was. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared with that number. Might be able to look in there if you want to read it, but this is basically a formality of you signing the contract that accepts O'Mara as the contractor.
It was for 700. That is the exact same amount that bid they just turned into us. Isn't it?
That's what I had in my notes.
Yes. They turned in the exact same quote.
$777,089.29.
But someone sent the wrong
That's extremely.
What's the chances of that happening? Without someone making a mistake?
Is this here for Memorial?
This for 30th Street.
That is for Community Crossing Grant, sorry. That was
Okay.
30th Street, Amera was 348, 4112.
That's better.
412. 348, 412. If I can talk.
So,
Any questions you guys have?
The
I-
attorney's already reviewed it, right? We've already
Oh, yeah,
gone through
that was
that.
from,
Yeah, previous meetings.
yeah.
If there's no questions, Jim, I don't know if you can hear. You have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
Certainly needed I think we talked about that before, amount of work that's been done already by utilities to maintain those mains. Certainly needed.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with David Mayer for the 30th Street project.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
okay, now that you've done that, I can tell you that we're scheduled to have our pre-construction meeting with Pomera next, I think Thursday, whatever July 31st falls on,
That'd be Friday.
Friday.
Friday next week, so things will start happening on that project here pretty quick. And,
Didn't they have an end completion date they had to be done by, wasn't it like
yeah,
September,
I can tell you
October
what it is
1st?
without looking in there. I've got so many projects going right now, I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
remember
sure.
which is which.
I was
It's
thinking, it was-
supposed to take, it's only supposed to take about a month.
Yeah, it's
to
not very
do it
long.
once they get in there. I mean, it's a bore, so they just have to go back and dig holes to connect all the services and then put some valves in. So it should move pretty quick, and most of the work is in the middle of the road, so it shouldn't bother people too much.
they're gonna have 30th Street shut down.
No, I don't think, I mean, there might be a period of time for some reason or another where we might have one lane blocked, but I think we'll have two-way traffic most of the time.
And the only place that's going to be blocked is where the equipment is, because everything else is bored, right?
They're working on getting their permits from INDOT right now, so we'll see what INDOT requires and then go from there. You want me to go ahead with my department stuff?
Go ahead.
Since that's next?
That's fine. You're next.
I was just gonna tell you, it looks like we're slated to start mid-August on Memorial Drive. We're waiting on Brighton to get started, and they've been held up on another project because they got behind because of the virus stuff. So if they have a completion date that they're gonna have a hard time hitting, so we'll have to deal with those issues, whether we're gonna hold them to it, or we'll be talking about that as we go forward. But it's gonna be difficult for them to hit their substantial completion, I would think. We're gonna go ahead and have a a construction progress meeting with them, just so we can all get together and talk about all of it, and see where we are. Just to let you know, we are moving forward with our Gray Road Water Booster Station upgrade. Already had a couple of meetings about that, trying to make that happen pretty quick. I just applied this morning for a temporary permit to start a chlorination point at the Woodside Village tank. The actual chlorination point will be at Baptist Temple Booster Station. So that's just a few of the other things that we have going. Paint company project is officially finished. All the paperwork is signed off on, and everybody's agreed that it's done and completed properly, so.
Looks very nice down there too.
That was
Did a
good
great
news to
job.
get.
Looks real nice. Neighbors are all happy too, right?
Okay, so that's it for now. We'll give our report when we get back in line here in a little bit.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and get the approval for the 2204 Western Avenue?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. This is a new trash pickup point. 2204 Western.
That previously was a business, is a residence now,
It's a beauty shop, I believe.
so it still is? Okay. I'll approve it. I mean, I'll
I'll
make that motion, sorry.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Okay. John, you up there, sir?
Yes.
Is he out there, Justin?
John Palsy?
Yeah.
John out there?
Let's move on and see why I went back. So let's, Clint Harden, you out there, sir?
Yes.
Yep, come on in.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Hello. All right. Everyone's out there looking for John, so that's
That's all right.
all right. So kind of monthly update.
We'll do you next, John. We had to skip it.
You can see on the left the report, our miles, our calls for service. Our calls are back up. You know, we kind of took a little bit of a nosedive during the height of the COVID before, and we're back up to where we're normally at. So, I mean, you fluctuate day by day, month by month, week to week. There's really no rhyme or reason to a lot of that, but we are back where we're at. I did throw in on the bottom there, in regards to the total calls. There was some research that came out of University of Buffalo. And it said the EMS activations were down 26.1% over a 6-week period beginning in early March. But they also found that the EMS attended deaths, which I don't really like the way that phrased, but that's the way they did it, had nearly doubled. So people were waiting until the absolute last minute and then calling, and they were basically too sick to survive at that point. So that was something that came out of that research at the University of Buffalo. You may have any questions on that. I do have a couple other things.
That's the revised one, right? You're talking.
Yes, that was the revised one. I think Rosemary had
I
handed that
appreciate
out.
that.
I've got a couple questions on the revised expense report, if that's what
Okay.
you're asking about.
I'm not sure. Let me dig here.
We'll look at this one.
I've got one. Just a matter. Here we go. Shoot.
Actually, first of all, I want to commend you on, with the holiday pay being so high, that the overtime was a lot less than previous months. So I don't know if you did that in scheduling or how he's able to reduce that number down quite a bit, but that looked good. Second question I have is on the clothing allowance. Is that, well, once a year clothing allowance?
Clothing allowance is twice a year.
Twice a year? And on the building and structure, are we almost done with this building?
Oh, no, we're not. We got a ways to go. So, a lot of it is, kind of like you gotta get through this part before you can go to this part. So it's a work in progress. Hopefully this week I'm gonna have the kitchen remodel finished up, because basically we're doing all in-house. We're doing anything that we can do, we're doing ourselves. So that takes quite a bit of time, because you're relying on everybody to, when they're free to come in and basically volunteer their time. So just gonna be kind of a slow process in that regard.
That's all the questions.
Oh, I thought you had more.
No, I
Any
was
other
just wondering
questions? Okay.
And I've got two other things planned. There's been some changes since the deadline to get the packet turned in.
So is this not a good one?
No, that is not it.
Are we gonna address this too?
That's the updated.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So you have an updated request to hire to replace one of the two people that retired. The second individual backed out as of Friday evening, and so that's why you have an updated one. So I'm asking for permission to hire Eric Lauer. He's been around, he's got a lot of experience, he's been with us part-time for several years. so requesting permission to go ahead and hire him to fill one of the vacancies.
Questions?
Motion to approve his request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Thank you, sir.
The second page I handed you there isn't really so much for approval, it's just kind of an FYI. I'm not gonna say the names of the companies, because they're both have ties in the community, so I'm not gonna say that. But you can see our current supplier for oxygen, you can see what their costs are. And one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to review all the costs with our vendors and so forth and so on. Had reached out to the proposed company, and you can see the pretty much massive cuts that they're able to do. They're a bigger supplier, they produce their own oxygen, they're not a reseller. So and one of the reasons I wanted to bring this to you is I'm looking at the 5-year lease plan, because that brings us, there is an upfront cost, but it moves our effective daily tank rental. For every tank that we have, we are currently paying 53.9 cents per day per tank. So if you think, and I'm just gonna use 10 for round numbers, we're paying $5 a day in rent. Even if that tank's not used, if it's sitting there, if it's on our property, we're paying 54 or 53.9 cents per day. With a 5-year lease, that drops to 6.6 cents per day. So even with a little bit of upfront, it's gonna save us a massive amount. I mean, oxygen is a pretty good size expenditure for on the medical supply side. I don't think it's the largest, but it is sizable. And the other nice thing is they will deliver it. There is a delivery charge that we're currently not incurring, but with the savings on the other side, I think it offsets. Plus, to me, there's a safety issue. Those tanks are 75 to 100 pounds. Right now, we basically lift them and load them into the back of an ambulance to take to do an exchange. We unload them when we get there. We load the new one back in the truck, drive it, unload it again. So we're handling them, 4 times. It's just, to me, it's a back injury waiting to happen. They'll deliver it, lift gate, and then when it actually gets loaded into the ambulance for use, there is a lift on the truck that actually will load that oxygen tank, but it won't do for transport. So hopefully we haven't had any, knock on wood, but hopefully it would prevent that, any injuries from that. So I haven't pulled the trigger on this yet, but when you see the claim, for next month, and you've got a $1,400 bill when our normal is $300, just kind of wanted you to know why that is.
Go ahead.
So why do you pay upfront?
Because it's a lease, and basically you can walk away at any time from this company. You can say, no, we're done with you, and walk away, but that's not refundable. So basically, it's kind of hedging their bet that you're gonna continue to do business with them for 5 years. And it helps them. Oxygen is a commodity, just like crude oil or corn or pigs or whatever. It helps them manage to kind of know what their anticipated need is gonna be too. So you're kind of helping them out in that regards, and then on our side, it gives you a lower cost. So, does anybody have any questions? I didn't want to put that in your package because without explanation, it kind of lacked context.
So is the 1440 on top of everything else, or is that,
The 1440 that's the tank lease. So,
okay,
like right now, we're paying the 53.9 cents per day.
right?
That 1440 covers that daily tank fee. We will no longer have a daily tank rental fee. We still have to pay the $25 for the actual content of the tank each time we exchange a tank, but we're gonna pay $25 instead of $54.37. And then if we go with the proposed, then that 6.6 cents per day that's what it works out to. We're not going to pay that in addition to the lease.
Okay.
That is included in the lease. But that, I just wanted to be able to give you that so you could compare apples to apples. You know, the 53.9 and the 6.6, so you can compare them, so. Anybody have any questions on that? I know I talked to Chad, and he's like, well, that's not a huge number. I'm like, well, it's kind of big to me, so
Every amount right now.
so
helps.
that's why I wanted to let everybody know, you know, what you could be seeing there. So we still have a few details to work out with them.
So it'd still be the 20 cents a day then?
That is, like when COVID first hit, I didn't know what our auction availability was gonna be. So normally, let's say we keep 10 tanks, I told them to go get us 3 more. Let's kind of stock up a little bit. Since those would be outside the lease, then it would be 20 cents a day on those tanks that would be outside the lease.
Those 3.
Just those 3. Anything additional over our leased amount would be 20 cents a day versus the 53.9.
Can we take those 3 tanks back if not needed?
Yeah, they're already, well, once you take possession of those, that oxygen they cannot resell that oxygen. It has to be wasted, so they vent it. But yeah, those 3 extra tanks, they've already been used and returned, and I didn't get replacements for them, so yeah, they're gone at that point. So back down to what our normal baseline is.
So we don't have the 20 cents a day for each one of the tanks?
Well, you never have the 20 cents a day. That's the proposed company. So
If we was to get additional?
yes.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah. What we were paying was 53.9. So
Appreciate your work on that.
Exactly.
He's done a great job.
thank you. Anybody have any questions? Like I say, that was more of an FYI than a. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you.
Okay, John, you wanna come back in?
Hello.
Hello?
For the month of June, we had 8 hours, 56 minutes of meetings production, 17 hours, 1 minute of original production. We started several new programs, which I had mentioned previously we were going to do. The Quarantine Cooking Live, which is Fridays at 2, that's from the library. Crafty Corner, also at the library, live Wednesdays at 2. And we're streaming that to the library's Facebook page as part of their effort to provide programming to the public that won't necessarily be able to come into the library, as they have limited hours. We also started the new program, The Shot Clock, with Nathan Shaw. That's airs weekdays at 6:30, new program every week. We've got prom and graduation will air again this Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m. And we've got a new episode of Black Man Small Town coming up Tuesday the 28th at 6 p.m. live. And that will feature youth in the community, including guests would be Latarian Harrison, Damian Rose, Jay Gaddis, and Sophia Rickman. Any questions?
This is just for my information, but you've got original productions and some other things. What I see there, everything except for meetings and events, everything there is original. I mean, how do you differentiate?
Oh, I see. Original production, what I should title that is event production perhaps, because that could be our monthly programming, which would be things like, well, you'll see on there, Recovery in Action, On the Spot, Hometown Salute. Those are monthly programs we produce, as well as Imagine This. And then event programs such as the Fair Queen Contest, early graduation, and the graduation parade. We list those up there. The rest of them, I would have normally listed those up as original productions, but to try and break it down so you can see how much production we're doing in each of those categories, since we're doing so much more now.
I like the participation of other groups coming in and working with you to have original productions. So that's great. We've got an excellent channel for it. It's too bad it can't be over the air, because there's a lot of people out in the county would really benefit watching it.
Which is why we broadcast on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything that we do, we put on our YouTube channel, which is Local TV3. Just search for that. So everything is on there as well. With the exception of our Volt Archives. That airs weekdays at 8 a.m. We have a new program each week on that, and that's just on cable.
Unfortunately, people who live out in the county still cannot live stream Facebook and videos and YouTube, and if they don't have strong enough signal.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is sketchy out there, which, you know, hopefully one day we'll solve that problem, but
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Hey, in recent events that we had with the weather, I know we used to, on the old TV, we had, you know, a chance to be able to maybe get some weather warnings. Is there something that can come through?
I don't know that we can be fast enough,
That-
which is why we use the emergency
Yeah.
alert
That's-
system.
Sign up for that, and that's excellent.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I've signed
much
up
faster.
for it, but I'm only get periodic ones. I don't get all the ones, because I hear other people's phones go off and mine might not.
But
But I was
you
just
need the
wondering if we
settings.
could do it, something that might be,
We can if we have enough warning. Typically, we don't have enough warning for me to be able to get to it and get it on the air. It's usually 10 minutes maybe on some of that stuff, maybe less.
If that, yeah.
I wasn't sure if there's a way to get it out to more people. I mean, we'd really dodged a bullet with the last storm that came through,
And
so,
nobody knew that was gonna happen.
you know.
No,
And that
nobody.
only lasted 10 minutes and it was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Well, yesterday evening was bad.
Yes.
That's the most rain I haven't seen it rain that hard. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how long. It was hard.
Also, National Weather Service and the TV stations, they will send them out to your phones for a lot of things. You know, it could be lightning in your area or whatever.
Well, I do have
Where
that on
locally,
hand,
you only do it for the true emergencies,
Yeah.
like tornado or something.
If we have enough warning.
Yeah, yeah.
It's tough.
But no, TV3 is a great. It's a great thing that we have.
Oh, yeah.
You have a good staff.
I'd say though, it's hard for me because I script everything out, and then when I sit there and look at that camera, I was like, my name is, and you go blank staring at that camera lens. It's tough. I try it sometime. It's one of the hardest things I do. But it's a great service that we have.
It is.
So thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Is Dan out there? Does anybody see Dan? You out there? Scott, you wanna come on in?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello,
Thank you,
Scott.
sir.
Everybody have copies of my run report and overtime report. If there are any questions on either one of those? No. Some things we got going on. Right now, currently, we're still trying to get guys done with their physicals. Slow process. We're only letting so many in up there at a time. Got the ball rolling on my new software. Got Mike, our IT guy, helping me get that going. The new fire engine's now in service. It's engine 4. We got it up and going, got it decaled and loaded up, and it's currently in service. And I did get the new Chief's pickup truck, and I'm currently getting the decals designed for that and waiting for the lights and stuff to come in and get that stuff installed. So
Everything good with it?
yeah, nice truck.
Time frame that it'll be in service?
I'm sorry,
Rough time frame it'd be in service?
the pickup truck or the engine?
Both.
The engine's in service now.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it in service. The pickup truck I'm driving, but I believe Kevin ordered the lights and stuff for it, and he's gonna probably try to get started on that this week. So,
Sounds good.
yep.
Where's the new engine housed? What
On the
station?
east side of Station 4.
Okay.
Yep, it's a nice truck. Guys really like it, so.
It was a nice truck.
Any other questions? That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Is Brad back out there? Brad,
I'm gonna do
you gonna do it?
the, the report. All right, June utilities report. Water department revenue disbursements a little high due to office shares, the sewer and storm payback of water. Normally this is completed every month, but with us falling behind and getting year end done, we haven't done office shares this year, so we did last month. so what is office shares? I don't know if you guys know what office shares are, but
No.
we have 3 different companies: water, sewer, storm, and if you buy something for water, it goes into the water account. There is some items, example, like our electric bill, we write one check, then we divvy it out in office. And those are the things that we do. In office, also office supplies, items like that we have to write 3 separate checks. So that's what the office shares are. They got divided out for the year. So hopefully from here out, you won't really even notice a difference in the reports. Number should be not as high. Also, we made our first PSG payment in water for $30,000, which was out of the ordinary. And sewer, we made a $83,000 payment for PSG, which made expenditures a little higher than normal. Overtime, $2,500 was scheduled overtime, and most of that came from the sewer plant because of the 2 holidays in June. And the $36.90, the rest of it was pretty much service crew fixing leaks and lift stations throughout the month.
Did we have that many go down? I mean, we doubled our overtime pretty much from last month.
Yeah, we had about, I think 2 lift stations and 3 or 4 leaks we had us to come
And
in.
the power
Well,
outage.
I knew the storm hit that we lost the one, but
Yeah, it's gonna be high next month, the next report also, because I don't even think that even fell on this report.
I know Mayor had sent out an email, saying that, so.
Yeah, we had everything was down. I mean, the sewer treatment plant was down. Mike and I had to push the gate open by hand, which I learned a new, and also another problem. When the power goes out, you can't get to the place. They're like, oh, you left the switch. And it wasn't that easy, but so the power goes out, it's hard to get in, but the power was out. How many lift stations we have down?
I think there was 4, I believe.
So
They was all on that side of town.
And they were vacuuming them out to keep up with it, so.
But for the month of June, we had Water Street lift station, number 13 lift station, number 11 workstation. Then some leaks on 1007 Oak Street, 32nd Street, so there was
A lot.
here and there.
Are your lift stations still having trouble? The lights,
Lights.
the
No,
flushable lights?
we did a little better with that.
They call them flushable. but-
Yeah, they're not.
Flushable. So, yeah, we did a little better with that. Rest of the report is our service department, work for the month, water, sewer, monthly reports. Brad talked about the projects already. Claims, nothing really out of the ordinary. We did have a $3,300 service call on the water side of it for well number 3. It was losing communication. And there was also $2,700 materials for the water line project for River's Edge that we're going to install. We may have all the materials, haven't installed it yet. And also we ordered $5,000 worth of water meters that was divvied up between the sewer and water departments. Any questions?
On the water meters, can you explain those so they understand why we're buying water meters to replace water
This is
meters?
this is just like a regular meter order.
Right,
we ordered
didn't we
meters.
switch meters though?
We're in the process of looking at that.
Okay.
They're getting to an age where we need to get them updated.
Right.
These are just replaced the things that we replace on a regular basis. So hopefully next meeting or time after that, we'll come back with a proposal on replacing a bunch of meters.
Right.
The older meters.
Now, Everton Water got the same system you did near the same time, and they're starting to go through that.
You know,
That new meters are not necessarily going with old software. And,
Right.
yeah, we have some changes coming up, so.
Oh, yeah. And how many meters do we have?
6,000 plus.
So it's gonna be expensive and take some time, but they're also more accurate too, that helps. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Catherine. I'm sorry, Brad, you gotta finish.
So we actually only had 2 bidders on the project. This was paperwork pertaining to Community Crossing.
I'd like, with it being the
Oh,
same,
So the bids from Brackney and Theaneman are good.
that's
Good
why it
bids.
looked different for
and
him.
that's why it was the same amount.
Yeah.
And she will review those and we'll talk about them at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I wanted to remind you that, again, that with the water revenue, don't just keep remembering ongoing that we are putting quite a bit of money away in depreciation to pay for the projects as we do them, so those funds actually look a little better this time. The street department report, you can see all the different amounts of things that we picked up. We've had the street sweeper out. It's just almost ready to have made its first full pass on Connersville streets. We've probably looked like I've been having him color in a map as he covers town. It looks like about 90% covered. Still a few little streets here and there to get. And I want to remind everybody that they're gonna sweep the parade route. Now, it may have confused everybody because he swept it this morning also, because he wanted to hit it twice. But on Thursday, if everybody could have their cars moved off the parade route, we'll sweep it real good and make it look nice for the parade. Did anybody have any questions on the street department report? The compost site is going to be open all week again this week for people bringing limbs. The guys are going to be out for the next couple of weeks picking up storm limbs. If anybody's got limbs from the storm, please get those out so we don't have to keep coming back to the same house. They'll go pick up a bunch of them and then they'll drag more out and have to keep going back. So try to get those done so we can, in the next week and a half or so, we'll finish up with picking all those up. And the only other thing I wanted to say was that the guys at street department and utilities both were excellent in the storm the other day. We had tons of people out working during those things. Some of the guys had to work over 24 hours to get all the lift stations back online. The guys at street department getting trees out of the street. Everybody did a great job. I just want to publicly thank them.
And it was hot too. I mean, they worked their tails off. So.
Hey, Brett. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, well, I want to apologize for not staying on top of the shred schedules. People ask me, but do we have set days for those so that we know way in advance?
You mean like shred days at the transfer station?
Yeah.
I don't have
The paper shred days?
Yes.
Okay. In the past, we did the second Saturday in May and October. Second Saturday in May and October. With the COVID-19, we did the third Saturday in July. So it was just last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one will be second Saturday in October, which is October 10th.
Thank you.
When you dispose of the sweeper material, do we just take it down to the transfer station and put it in the?
I haven't decided what to do with it yet. So far, I'm just letting the pile grow because I want to see what it looks like. I want to see how big of a pile we make. It's got a lot of, you can't really use it for anything. It's got a lot of different stuff in it.
I would figure 95 ton, you know, I mean, that's starting to get up there a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting to be a pretty big pile.
Yeah, I'd say on the, when are we gonna be seeing more of the install on the solar panels, the completion dates?
Well,
I've been watching these, and
all
we
of
need
the-
to watch our electricity costs.
I think every site is finished mostly finished except for the EMS.
Do you know when they're gonna be going online?
All of them are online except the wastewater treatment plant and EMS.
Duke told me a couple weeks ago they're gonna be on. I've been calling them and we're waiting on Duke.
I mean, we're spending a lot of money.
Trust me, I've been on the phone with them and waiting on the engineer to do whatever he's gonna do. They told us it was good to go, and then, when was that, 2 weeks ago they told me to go online, I think? They're still not online yet, so we're pushing them, but tough.
Anything else?
No, but thank you for painting the lines on the streets. I think the streets are looking a lot better than they have in years.
Yeah, I'll just tell you about that. When
It's
you
been a
first started
process,
painting with
too.
the new machine, we were like severely disappointed with how the paint was looking. So we started digging into all that to find out what was going on, and there's a glass bead that you need to put in with that paint when you spray those. And we, over the years, have kind of got away from that because it's very expensive. Well, it turns out you really need that in there, and that's what keeps the That's what makes it look good, keeps the cars up off of the paint somewhat.
Yeah, I noticed the first spray you did, I think down by St. Gabriel's, there were a lot of tracks going through it. But
Yeah,
the
it was
ones up by
terrible.
Grand
It was
View look a lot better.
unsatisfactory.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So we got out, we got on it pretty good and figured out what was going on, and I think that they're much better. They're still not perfect, but they're both a lot
It's
better
hard
than
to,
they were.
yeah, it's hard to believe a little bitty glass bead keeps your tires up enough to do that, but it does.
You putting glass in the yellow lines too? Brad?
All the lines, I think.
All, they look good, but thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That to be said, you will see overtime probably on the next time on street department too, just for storm cleanup. Just we were out there Saturday and Sunday both cleaning up. So
I noticed that you saw it said something online about maybe getting, was it a HUD grant or something for the
that's-
storm? Will that cover that, some of that overtime?
we don't know the answer, but that's what we're shooting for.
Okay.
So that's exactly what we're shooting for. So all that helps. Okay, Catherine. Sorry.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hi,
Jim.
Kathy.
Hello.
You still there, Jim? Did you hang up?
You there, Jim?
Sleep.
Yes.
Oh.
He can hear.
I just wanted to highlight a couple of things from our report. I wanted to publicly thank Reed Health. They have again supported our community, given us almost a $4,000 grant, and we will be sealing and striping all of our basketball courts to get those looking nice. That includes Industrial and Office Park, as well as Roberts Park.
Wow.
We will not be touching 2nd Street because of the other activities going on over there. We had a great meeting with Professor Aaron Thompson on the 14th, and we have moved from pie-in-the-sky student designs to a realistic design. He's brought a gal named Faith Welty on board, who is a Parks fellow who is working with Purdue now. So we have a design that we can actually move forward with. We're very excited about that. And then also at Office Park, the Shawls were out Saturday morning installing the new futsal goals. And then they're going to have the logo painted there in the center. So we'll have a brand new futsal court, brand new looking basketball courts over at Office Park by the end of the year. I guess that was it on the parks, unless you guys had other questions. Did want to talk a little bit about vandalism. Continues to be the most aggravating part of this position. Last night someone busted a basketball goal in Roberts Park, shattered the backboard. It's going to cost us money to replace. And then we had somebody dump a bunch of motor oil in Cleo Fountain.
Oh my word.
The guys were able to get it cleaned up this morning. They have the fish working again, but it's just ongoing. So if citizens see something happening that looks like maybe that group of people shouldn't be there, please call it in. We can't be everywhere at all hours, so it is a community effort to keep our parks safe and clean. And the police don't know what's going on either unless maybe somebody tips them off. So we continue to battle the vandalism.
And it's everybody's concern.
It's everybody's
because
concern.
it's our park,
Exactly.
our
Exactly.
facilities, and the taxes that we pay go into making sure this stuff is operable. So,
If God forbid you see a needle in the park when you're walking, let us know. Don't put it on Facebook that the park's not doing their job. Just let us know. We'll come pick it up. Let us know if you see something going on that shouldn't be going on.
I'm adamant about, I can't stand vandalism. I mean, that's things that one drives a stake through me.
Especially in our budget situation,
Exactly.
it's doubly frustrating because we just got this grant to make the courts look better, and I got a call this morning, and somebody's busted a backboard. So
I heard
You know,
about the
we'll-
oil in Cleo Fountain. I mean, is there any way to put any kind of cameras on that at all? Something, even
I'm
A
back and
ring
forth
or
with the
something, you
camera. You put up a camera for one that costs you money. Most times people do stuff at night. If you catch them, then you have to try to figure out who they are. More than likely, there's somebody underage. You really can't. It's to me the cameras are. I get it, but I don't think cameras are the answer for every everything, but yeah, we don't have cameras there now.
I mean, surely somebody had to have seen pouring mortar oil in Cleo Fountain somewhere along the line, so if anybody knows about it, I wish they'd step up to the
Depends on
plate.
what time too.
Yeah, it just,
Yeah.
it just is like, it's just aggravating, so,
And you know, the
and
The
then we
guys who
spend
go
our
to-
time cleaning up, you know,
Exactly.
instead of moving
Did
forward.
it stain it?
Huh?
Did it stain it at all?
No, it didn't. It, one of the fish had stopped working last Friday, but now they're all working again, so.
But the guys that use the basketball courts, they're gonna hear who did it,
I hope so,
and
and then I hope we can
they ought
prove it.
to self-discipline.
you know. Yeah, so.
You'd hope at least self-discipline.
It's just very unfortunate. But on a more positive note, this week we're going to be getting ready for fair. If you have not driven through Roberts Park, please do. You haven't seen our awesome tennis courts. They're
Oh,
done.
yeah.
Tennis
They're
courts are fantastic.
gorgeous. The company actually redid our existing pickleball as well, so everything, it really looks nice. Last week, the guys finished repairing and painting the admin building, which is the fair office. So when you go by, you might notice that that building's been redone. We're gonna get some new landscaping out there this week from our designated money. So there are some positive things. Hopefully nobody messes up the paint. We hope. But next week is fair, so we turn in the park mostly over to the fair board next week. We did run Toddler Time last Friday, a program that had been drawing almost 30 kids and drew 3 kids last week. So we got, not that it was a moneymaker, it was just something we were trying to do, but we thought about it. We said maybe we'll lay off that for a few months. We think it's because of COVID, people with small kids not wanting to come out. Plus, with as busy as we are, you know, we thought we'll just give that a little bit of time. One of the reasons we are getting busier, Erica has resigned her position as park secretary. She's going to nursing school. While we're very excited, we hate to lose her. But I did want to ask permission today to hire Carrie Lewis. She's been with the park for several years. She was actually here several years ago running our day camp. She's been back for 2 years running day camp and worked in the office all year. I think she'll do an outstanding job. I have no worries. I just need the okay
Permission.
to move ahead.
I'll make the motion to, what was her name again?
Her name is Carrie
Second.
Lewis.
Carrie.
Scared me to death. Emotion.
You forget you're there, Jim.
You scared me to death, man. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay.
Awesome. That's all I have, unless you guys have other questions. But please do come by the park.
Parks
See
look
us.
great.
I'm very happy with what we've got going right now.
Catherine, I do have one question.
I was gonna say, we drove through, prom night, and that place, there was packed, people everywhere in the park, just taking advantage of the park, walking, doing all kinds of stuff, so. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if it's you or the Parks Board or Fair Board or whatever, but when the people set the campers in for the concession trailers, we're noticing some spots on the asphalt where they're sinking in. It's a simple thing of taking a plate or a 2x10 or something like that to be able to disperse the weight a little bit. If you look on the south side of the 4-H building, there's several holes, deep holes.
Huh.
So that could pose maybe a safety concern. You could probably get some asphalt and fill in the holes a little bit, but
On the road?
in the parking lot. It's where the campers are sitting in for the fair and they're sitting down their
Having your
pads.
trailers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that parking lot, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's the only thing it is.
You're
just
talking
a
about the
plate.
Roberts Memorial Building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look at that, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's
usually
some of 'em.
aren't.
I know there's
Are there
usually 3 or
vendors over
4.
that far?
No, but there's 3 or
There-
4 campers.
They put
Okay.
campers over there.
Campers.
I'll tell Ted. Ted's in charge of the
Well,
campers.
I think
No.
that might be the carnival people who come in.
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
carnival
Oh.
people, they camp out too, they put their campers there to stay in.
Yeah,
Okey doke.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Bowles, you out there, sir?
Hello, Randy.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Ray.
Really, if you guys have any questions on our monthly, other than that, I'd just like to make sure you guys are getting all the information you need as far as our ordinance goes, and change the way we've been presenting it to you guys, and making sure that's everything you guys need. Are the emails working? I'm not sure. I think she's sending them out weekly.
Who's she sending them to?
Is it, any of you guys getting them, or is it council?
I'm not getting it either way. I got one time.
I got one about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought at first you were talking about this
And-
thing here, but
Yeah, it should be the
Randy.
totals, I mean,
I did not get one
at all.
at all.
Okay, well, I mean, that's stuff that we have to get fixed, that's why I wanted to make sure, as far as ordinances go, because that's obviously our busy time and, a lot of concern to the city. So, I mean, it should be a breakdown in this fashion.
yeah,
You
I
guys
haven't
don't
got
have
one of
none of
those
that?
for
I didn't get one either.
almost a month.
You haven't got any emails? Okay.
I'll check again, but
I mean, you probably know by now if you've got one or not, but I thought that's what.
Although I haven't
Kirby
checked, I haven't
made.
checked my junk folders in a while, but
well, that's a possibility. For some reason, if it's a mass email, they
Either way, we'll get it fixed in. McCurry's worked on this format here that was supposed to be submitted through email, so it's, I mean, I think it's more in depth, you know, it says what the problem was that you guys requested, instead of just having the yes or the no as far as, citations or photos or whatnot. And it also, you know, it'll go into depth of what the ongoing process is court-wise, if they made it to court or whatnot, so. I'll make sure it gets sent out to you guys, I just wanted to make sure that was all clarified. Apparently it's not.
we'll get it fixed.
Yep, we'll get it fixed.
and if you'll stick around afterwards, I have a unique situation.
Okay.
I do appreciate in June that you've had the lowest expenditures of any month this year so far in your department. So what you're doing to be able to look at that is appreciated by me and hopefully everybody else.
We're trying here and there.
I mean, I did notice that I ain't gonna let you get away scot-free because overtime is up just a little bit,
It's
but
up a
overall
little bit.
expenditures are down.
Yeah, we've had, some funeral leads and workman comp issues, so.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Randy.
Hey, any old business? Nope, any miscellaneous business? I do have one thing, Becky's not here, you see, but she was feeling sick, I think I said it already.
Yes.
Okay, that's what, I wrote it down again, but she will be here next time, hopefully, so. I don't really have anything, any miscellaneous business?
Yeah, I don't know what's been done in the past, but what can we do about identifying these trestles a little bit? Is this CSX's problem? Is this our problem? I mean, we're probably one or two wrecks away from potentially having something major happen.
Along with that, let me mention too that if you're coming south on Central, you are at 11th Street or beyond before you see all the signs
Yeah.
on the trestle because of the trees growing out.
Exactly, I've been looking at that too.
I had somebody talk to me about that the other day. I've been looking at it, trying to figure out what to do with that.
We discussed this 4 years ago, probably, our first term. And I don't remember the reasoning, but it seemed to me it had something because it was state route or something, but it seemed like to me there was something, because we looked at all kinds of different solutions, but something stopped us, and I honestly don't remember what it was.
You know, a trained professional truck driver, now the campers might be different, but the trained professional truck drivers, they ought to be looking for things like that, I would think. I think it's well marked. You've got State Road 1 turning 2 blocks ahead, 1 block ahead, and then you've got the yellow signs, and
The other one,
I would think professionally they've got it marked.
I don't know why they hit the one on Grand. I don't know why the guy was even there. Shouldn't even be there.
GPS, I would say
Shouldn't have
probably.
taken, truck route shouldn't have taken him that way. If he's got a
Well, I
truck
mean, some of these
GPS.
GPSs depends on what application they're using, whether it's on your phone or an old Garmin or something. I mean, they could take them down.
Most drivers have a trucking GPS that keeps them away from bridges, but
It's
I don't
something
know.
at least more noticeable. Can we get the thing painted yellow and black or something? I mean, I know we can't hang anything in front of it, but
I've been contacted with them trying to get those painted, so that's not an easy issue. But I've been working on
I
that.
think it was talked about years ago, and as long as you did no harm to the trestle, it's my understanding, you can paint it if you want. But I personally, I'm not sure about the liability of what we might be
That's
doing.
I'm working on
Because
that.
if we take it upon ourselves to highlight it in some way, are we then taking on the liability of someone sees it or doesn't see it?
That's their bridge. They take it very seriously. So just we're working on talking to those guys.
But there's a resident who's talked to me several times that they think that there's just a matter of time when it's going to be a tanker hits it, as
Yeah.
opposed to a camper or a box truck. And, I mean, that's totally a possibility.
are the lights operational on it?
Yeah, they're on all the time now.
Yeah, but they're on all the time. That's the bad thing. Now it's redundant because everybody sees them flashing all the time, so nobody pays attention.
Well, that's true for us, but a new driver coming through there ought to see it, I would think.
I've driven a semi for 12 years, and through Connersville was the hardest city I've ever drove through.
We are working on a solution with the state. I can tell you that, but that's all I can say right now because I don't know where out on the project list we're going to fall. But I've been in several conversations with the state trying to get some stuff changed. So, but that is top of priority. That was one of the first issues we dealt with the state as soon as we got in office. So, any other miscellaneous business? Anything? Okay, claims, Rosemary.
Utilities was $230,975, $230,975.70. Payroll was $531,281.62. City was $369,390.25.
Okay. Take a motion to approve claims.
So moved.
Have a motion
Second?
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Public forum, you want to come on up? Amy, talk about
City
cemetery.
Cemetery. Conservator John Appel owns Atlas Preservation.
I'm sorry. Just so he can hear you, give your name, title, everything you're doing.
My name's Amy Brumfield. I am the president of the County Cemetery Commission and a member of the Historic Preservation Committee. John Appel is a conservator who is renowned for his work. His company, Atlas Preservation, is doing a 48 states in 48 days preservation workshop. And at the time when I entered Connersville or Fayette County into it, we were the only one in the state. Now, since it's been a few days, we are in a pool. But if we are accepted, I would love to have your blessing to have a preservation workshop at City Cemetery.
Questions?
Is
This is
there a
national.
fee to people who attend?
No, it'll be free across the board. We won't have to pay anything, and anyone who wanted to attend, it would be free.
So
I was
you've
gonna
done,
say-
you've done some of those, haven't you?
Yes, because I sit on the board with Amy, for the cemetery commission. It's wise for everybody to, a lot of people want to be able to clean up headstones, but it's wise to know how, the
Yeah.
proper way to do it.
Sure.
And this is national, isn't it? The national
Yeah,
initiative he's doing.
They're doing 48 states in 48 days.
That'd be
So-
great to be picked to be one of those.
It would be. But if we're not, I would still like to have a volunteer day,
Okay.
do some safe cleaning, and maybe leveling, stuff like that.
And when do you expect this to occur?
Well, if we are chosen, then he's starting in mid-August, so it would be, I'm not sure where we would fall.
We discussed having it in different cemeteries, but we figured with city cemetery, I think that's why, I don't know if you mentioned that or not.
Lots of historic things in the city cemetery.
Yes, because they were wanting to do veterans' graves, you know, as well as maybe historical figures' graves, so that would probably be, we could do it out in the country, you know, but then we're kind of limited people that might be able to get out there.
Yeah,
So,
I like the idea.
I like it.
Need a motion?
also move.
Have a motion
I'll second
and a
it.
second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you, Amy, if you need anything from me to help out with that, a letter or anything, let me know.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the public have anything to say? I can't see out in the hallway, so. Okay, if not, we can move on to adjournment. Have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion.
So moved.
Have a motion and
And a
a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Aye.
Thank you.